I like to think that the world changed a little bit with the invent of the iPhone. We've now got a whole generation of consumers that are digital native, that are mobile first, and that's going to have a massive, and is having a massive effect about what content works in the media industry. So, I mean, what I like to think is that, sport has been financed by the media industry for 30 years, basically through the cable bundle, and that is being attacked through cut the cord, through new ways that younger generations are consuming what they want to watch and listen to, through TikTok. They're creators themselves. It's no longer just one way, it's got to be two way. So, I think we're in a world of complete disruption, and what we are doing here at Horizon plays into that. A lot of people say, well, what is your digital strategy? I don't like that question. It's like, what is your content strategy? And more kids and consumers and fans are getting around shorter form types of content that is exactly the kind of asset that Horizon think has been under monetized and indeed left on the table. So I think we're facing into a reality where sports organizations are becoming media companies, and when they do that, they are going to put more and more effort into the kind of content that we're already seeing around what they're doing, both under owned and operated, which is their own channels, and also how they get that distribution through social media as well. So they are starting to think like media companies, and they're going to have to start thinking about monetizing that like media companies. That's things more like branded content and innovative ways. People want to be sold things through interesting content. It's much less about logos and brand awareness. So I think sport will use content to first of all know their audience better. The more I know about you, the more I can give you the content that you want in the place that you want. And I just think that what Pedro and the guys are doing here absolutely plays into that theme. We are moving to a world of polarization. Like the films that I watched when I was your age were much more of a wider spectrum, and now it kind of like uses the phrase that I use a lot, which is the polarization into Hollywood and art house. And Hollywood in sports terms are the big names, the big players, the big clubs, the big franchises, the big leagues. So we're in a world of polarization, and you know what? One of the things that I keep thinking about a lot these days is that when Elvis came around, that industry said, oh, it's transient, this kid is a flash in the pan, and they'll get back to jazz music and crooners really quickly. They didn't. And I believe we're in this moment with sport. The sports industry is used to there being a market for games like Getafe versus Alicante in La Liga. I tend to think that will have less and less marketplace, and much more will go on the major brands with the major followings. And I'm just so excited to see Horizon already having so many of those big IP brand holders on our client list.